Darya Nikolayevna Saltykova, commonly known as Saltykova, was a Russian noblewoman from the Saltykov family, sadist, and serial killer from Moscow. She became notorious for torturing and killing many of her serfs, mostly women. Countess Darya Petrovna Saltykova was a Russian lady-in-waiting, socialite and noble and dame of the Order of St. Catherine's First Degree. Saltykova has been compared by many to the Hungarian blood countess, Elizabeth Bathory, who allegedly committed similar crimes in her home, Cactus Castle, against servant girls and local serfs, although historians debate the accuracy of these charges. Darya Nikolayevna Saltykova married the nobleman Gleb Alexeyevich Saltykov, uncle of Nikolay Saltykov, a member of the famous Saltykov family. The Saltykov family was no stranger to the imperial Romanovs. Gleb's brother, Sergei Saltykov, was rumored to be the lover of Catherine the Great, as well as the true father of Paul I of Russia. Meanwhile, Gleb's nephew, Nikolay Saltykov, was the royal tutor for Catherine's children. She had two sons, Theodore and Nicholas. Darya Saltykova was widowed in 1755, at the age of 25. With her husband's death, she inherited a substantial estate, where she lived with her two young sons and a great number of serfs. Many early complaints to authorities about the deaths at the Saltykova estate were ignored or resulted in punishment for complaining. Saltykova was well connected with those in power at the Russian royal court and with the Russian nobility. Eventually, relatives of the murdered women were able to bring a petition before Empress Catherine II. During an extensive 6-year investigation, the serfs who lived on or near her vast estate were terrified of incurring her wrath. An abusive, unchecked aristocrat, she inflicted cruelty to those around her. Catherine decided to try Saltykova publicly, in order to further her lawfulness initiative. Saltykova was arrested in 1762. Darya's preferred choice of victim, young servant women. All in all, she is supposed to have murdered 137 women and 3 men. The male deaths, apparently, were accidental. Several accounts maintain that Darya's violent mood swings were to blame for most of her servants' deaths. It seems she never intended to kill them, merely disciplined them so they wouldn't repeat their mistakes. At the slightest offense, she would begin with throwing objects at serfs and servants she felt were lazy or incompetent. On the other end of the scale, she is said to have stepped on the belly of a pregnant woman, killed the wife of a hated male serf, and in some accounts, performed acts of cannibalism. The other cruelties, for which Darya became infamous, were the burning of hair, throwing servant girls outside, naked, in the dead of Russian winter, the pouring of boiling water from head to toe, the severing of ears with hot pokers, and whipping her female servants until the bones of their backs were exposed. Saltykova was held until 1768 while the authorities conducted a painstaking investigation. Catherine's Collegium of Justice questioned many witnesses and examined the records of the Saltykov estate. The investigating official counted as many as 138 suspicious deaths, of which the vast majority were attributed to Saltykova. Saltykova was found guilty of having killed 38 female serfs by beating and torturing them to death, but Empress Catherine was unsure how to punish her. Of that number, only 38 were confirmed due to the immense fear she instilled in witnesses who could have testified against her. She killed many women, several children, a few men, and even attempted to kill a nobleman. Capital punishment had been abolished in Russia in 1754, and the new empress needed the support of the nobility. Several of Saltykova's accomplices were also found guilty and were sentenced to public flogging followed by hard labor terms. In 1768, Saltykova was chained on a public platform in Moscow for 1 hour, with a sign around her neck with the text, "This woman has tortured and murdered." Saltykova was sent for life imprisonment in the cellar of the Ivanovsky convent in Moscow. She then her remaining years chained up in the basement of a monastery, before dying in 1801, mentally broken and alone. By the time of her death, at the age of 71 on November 27, 1801, Darya Saltykova was a broken woman who suffered from severe mental illness, cursing, swearing and spitting at whoever walked past the barred window that served as her only connection with the outside world, and was buried next to her relatives in the Donskoy Monastery necropolis. Thank you for watching.